the creations we make in this world, which is going to go far beyond the regular vanilla game. My plans are to extend the vanilla experience greatly with the possibilities that resource packs and data packs offer us in the next update of Minecraft, and I'm going to tell you about all of the wonderful things I have planned in this video. The server we are going to make together will be more than just a regular vanilla server. We will use command blocks and the like and to add lots of possibilities to the game and expand the Minecraft experience. They say save the best till last. Well, I say let's start off with a bang. This is my favourite feature of all of them. Mushroom blocks. I know what you're thinking, what are you on about, X? This is just a bunch of random mushroom blocks. Well, if you look at them closely, a lot of these ones are ones that don't actually appear in survival Minecraft, and a friend of mine has figured out a way to actually apply new textures to these blocks. So this will require the use of a resource pack. And here you can see the resource pack. It has a link to my friend Mary. This is her YouTube channel. If you'd like to know how this works, go over there and check out her videos on this feature that she has come up with. I'll put links to the videos in the description box down below. I'm not even going to attempt the ins and outs of how this works, but I'll give you a rough idea. Basically, all of those blocks that don't appear in survival Minecraft can be manipulated and turned into textures. And right here, we've got what you could call placeholder textures. They are all unique. They've got different numbers on them. So how many in total, you're thinking? How many in total? 160. That's right, 160 new textures in this game using a resource pack. That is exciting stuff right there, and this is what I want to bring onto the server. So again, if you want to know the ins and outs of how this works, go and check out Mary's videos. Right now though, I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration on how I think we can take this idea and make it work on the server. So at the moment it works like this. You get given a command block, you place it down, and it turns into the type of texture that you want. So let's say it's like a lapis block, and we could turn it into a slightly different one. You know, let's pretend this is our own chiseled lapis texture. Then that's going to be possible if we are to use something like this. This is how I think it could work. We could take a stick, rename it to chisel, and then in survival Minecraft what you would do is throw the stick at the block, and that's because we can detect entities that have been renamed in an area, and then it could change the block to the new texture. Now I'd like to come up with an even friendlier way of doing that, and I know there's a way you can do it on the server because we'll be able to make a plugin for the server, one that would allow you to go up to the block and click on it, and if you click on it with a stick that's been renamed to chisel, it could then change the texture to another type. So I'm hoping to develop something very similar to that that will be just as friendly in vanilla survival Minecraft as well, because the server is going to be Spigot, basically meaning it's vanilla survival, but you can also run plugins as well. Now when it comes to the types of texture that I want to add, I don't really want to go overboard with adding in stuff that's really not like anything that already exists. So it'll probably be ideas like adding a chiseled variant to iron or gold, or you know, similar blocks to ones that are already in the game. But right now it's just in the idea stage, and I'm really hoping we'll see this on the server in the future. Quite some time ago, a feature was added to this game, the ability to add lore to items. That's additional custom text that appears on the tooltip. And it's really a creative only feature. You can't do it in survival Minecraft, which is something that I would like to change with command blocks. And here is my vision of how it might work. I'm not entirely sure if this is possible, but let's say we have an input and an output chest. We put our item of choice into the middle of it, or a particular slot, and then we open up a book and rewrite what we want. Now I think with 1.13 they've added features that allow you to get data from one place and add it somewhere else, right? So I'm hoping it might be possible to make a system like this. You put the text into the chest and then it reads it and it moves this item over to another chest and it adds the lore. So what's in the book then ends up on the item. I don't know if that's entirely possible, but it certainly will be with a plugin on the Spigot server. So what I want to do is make sure all of these things are doable in both, but sometimes they might not be, and I've got a feeling this might be one of them. So on the Spigot server, what you would do is you would type in /lore, and then you'd put the text in, and you'd be holding an item in your hand, and then you press enter, and it would accept it because it's got a plugin to handle that, and then it would write the text onto the item in your hand, and you could add lore to your items, which is just a really nice way to customize little things in your world. So this next feature is very similar to the last, a way to customize your items. And again, on a Spigot server, maybe using a plugin, you can type something in the chat to make your life easier. Although this isn't actually about putting text on an item, this is about changing the color of it. So there's going to be an exchange of materials in order for the customization of your item. So let's say that we got a sword like this one, the Mighty Looter. It's got looting free on, and I'd like to point out a little bug here. Look at how the tags, or sort of the overlay, changes based on what screen you're on. I'm recording this in a snapshot because these features are made available in 1.13. So let's say we were to put a piece of lapis and the Mighty Looter sword into a chest together, then we should be able to see that there's lapis in the chest and then target the item in the chest and change its data and take away the lapis. So that means that we can change the color of it. We can dye the item. And there it is with a blue name. I think that is really, really cool, but this could be taken even further. So in this chest there is a bunch of ideas, and I always think it's a good idea to try and take things that don't get used a lot in the game and give it a reason to be used, like rabbit hide. And this makes no logical sense to the change to the item, but you can see that the text is now bold. So red dye and rabbit hide could equal bold red text on your item, which is cool. So this next one is just plain text, because usually they are italic. As you can see, it's slanted, and then we have that. Going to skip this one, go over here. You can see that we've underlined it by using flint, and we've coloured it with yellow. And this one right here has got a line strike through the middle thanks to the blaze. Now these won't be the actual items we use. This is just me with some quick ideas. And then the Never Star, you're probably wondering, well, what does that do? It does that. It animates the text, or obfuscates it, or however that word is said. And it is extremely cool, and I think for that one right there, which will probably be a popular one, something like a Never Star makes a lot of sense. This next feature is miniature blocks. You might have seen this in creative builds on creative servers. It's probably not too much of a surprise to you what this is, and to give you a quick rundown on how it works, player heads can have a custom skin attached to them, and that allows us to add the skins of, you know, different types of blocks in the game. So I want to add those into survival, but not only blocks that match what's already in the game, things like famous characters, different food types, so that one being a cupcake. We've got a skeleton mob over here with a crown on it, and then also some decorative blocks as well, which will allow you to expand, you know, the detail in your builds. Now when it comes to implementing this, there's going to be a way that I want to do it on the server that will be different to what we release, because again, everything that we're developing here I want to be both on the server and available to the public as well. So the way the public would use this is probably with a villager that would have a bunch of trades, right? You give it some items, it gives you a mob head in return, and I haven't been able to set that up as of right now. But the way that we would do it on the server is with custom crafting, which is added into Minecraft 1.13. The unfortunate thing is that it doesn't support MBT data, which is what this requires, so you wouldn't be able to get anything other than a plain player head out of that recipe. But with Spigot we could intercept the crafting and actually give you the correct player head using a crafting recipe. And this one is a notch, a grayscale notch, which I really find quite amusing. This next feature is one of the ones I'm most excited for, and it comes at you from two different angles. One of those is aesthetics, simply adding more stuff into the game for people to enjoy. The other one is coming together and creating these aesthetics. Now we've got a giant pixel diamond sword here, and the reality is every player can go and build one of these, and every player could change the colour and tweak the design of the sword to their liking. Now we'll come back to that point in just a moment. First of all, let me explain what this is. I have searched the internet just to find a resource pack to demonstrate this technology that I'm aware of. You can basically take a diamond sword and you can look at its unbreakable value, and if you give it a different unbreakable value you can apply a different texture to it. Now the person who created these textures in this resource pack has also changed the main diamond sword, which you don't need to do. We're going to keep the original diamond sword in the game. In fact, for all the tools and things that we change, we're going to keep the originals in there. These aesthetics are going to be mainly for aesthetics. Now if we have a look at the swords that have been created here, you'll see that they have different attack speeds, different attack damages, and other things. Like I think one of them has like a crazy amount of knockback on it, and I'm not looking to do anything like that. I'm not looking to rebalance the game, and since these swords will be totally unbreakable, we'll probably won't make them on diamonds, we'll probably put them on stones. So it's a purely aesthetic thing. If you want to walk around and have a cool fancy sword on you, then you're more than welcome to, but we're not going to make them overpowered or better than diamond swords. It's generally the idea there. So going back to our first point, about how anyone could build this diamond sword and then change the colors to their liking. What we can do is we can create a filter that will take the block someone have built in a world and then convert it into an image file that can be used in the resource pack for someone to walk around with this fancy sword, right? And so what I'm thinking is that we should do live stream competitions on the plot world where everyone gets a plot with a sword on it like this, and then they can come in, they can customize the sword, they can change the size of it, the materials, they can make it look just like they want, and then we can have a competition. We pick out our favorites, and that way we can get more people involved and create stuff together. And the idea's got me really excited. I hope you're excited for it too. If I didn't make it clear, like, the point was not to change the balancing of Minecraft, but to keep all of these additional items that we have as aesthetic things. So because they're unbreakable, that's why we would be making them as, you know, like iron or stone swords instead of diamonds, so they're not as powerful, as a kind of compensation, I guess, for being unbreakable. This next feature I'm about to show you is another one I'm incredibly excited for. Custom boss battles in survival Minecraft. And we've already got this on our vanilla patron server, which isn't going anywhere, by the way. The Together server is not a replacement for this place. On here we have a custom boss battle against Evil X. This one will be migrated to the Together server, and I want to add some more boss battles as well, like a shulker boss battle, because when you play on a survival server with lots and lots of people, shulker boxes can be hard to come by. And there'll be other boss battles as well, with trophies to collect and things like that. But this is it right here. Because I got Optifine, there's a bit of a visual glitch going on with this outlined dropper. But it'll be something along the lines of this. There'll be arenas that you can go and visit inside of the world, and with particular items you can then summon that boss fight. So, Evil X is hanging out over here. I've put myself in survival mode. I also gave myself resistance 10. It'll probably still do damage to me. And we've missed the summoning sequence of Evil X. Unfortunately, there is a command block on this server that loves to stop working every now and then. We don't know why. The shrine is now locked and we've missed the spawning sequence. But it is a very difficult boss fight against Evil X here. And this is super cheaty because I have resistance 10 right now, but you can see the boss fight is very interesting. Lightning strikes, throwing down potions. You know, if I weren't cheating right now, this would be just horrendously difficult. And so, yeah, that's one boss fight, and what I want to do on the server is add many more of them. This was made back in April of 2013. It's almost 5 years old, and I can't believe the command blocks still work, or at least mostly work. If I go and stand in here, this is my own custom portal. It gives us a nausea effect to simulate going to another dimension, and where it takes us to is a custom dimension, except actually it's just another part of the overworld, and of course it's going to rain while I'm making a video. Typical. But to simulate it feeling like another dimension, we've used night vision at night so the sky feels different, and then we've replaced regular blocks that you see generating with wall blocks. Now what I want to do is basically spigot only. It's going to be for the server, this feature, but to add more dimensions, and we think it might be possible with spigot to basically create extra dimensions that you can get to using the server. So these dimensions could have custom terrain generated with different types of blocks. We could have worlds that are like amplified and beyond. And also we could use these dimensions for boss fights or for challenges as well. I was thinking it'd be really cool to go to a custom dimension where you play a skyblock challenge, and once you completed it, you get to bring a trophy back to the regular world. Things like that. That's what I want to add. More and more possibilities into this Minecraft experience. Alright, this next feature I think is something all players can agree on would be really nice to have in survival Minecraft, and with a spigot plugin it would be very straightforward intercepting the action of clicking on a block with another type of item. In survival Minecraft with some command blocks, I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, but it's actually already in the game to some extent. However, this debug stick can be used with anything to rotate blocks, and I wouldn't want to implement an idea in this way. I want it to be used on specific blocks only, and one of those would be terracotta, because, you know, when you're trying to make a pattern, it's always a bit of a pain to kind of figure out which way around you should be standing as you place each of the blocks. Wouldn't it be nice just to come over here and click them until you figure out what way around it is you want it to be, like that? You know, it would make wall building so much easier. There you go, straight away, just like that, in 2 attempts. We've We've made it again. So that's my other idea, is to bring something onto the server like that allows you to build a terracotta blocks a little bit easier. Alright, it's time for another concept, and this one is much like the swords concept over there, in the way that we could do building competitions and build these things together. They're going to be trophies. So over here we've got a little mock-up of some items on a shelf. What I'd like to do is put our own items onto these shelves, things that we have designed ourselves, and we can actually do that with this mock-up demonstration here. If I place this block below me, you can see it instantly turns into a little trophy. Isn't that fantastic? Now I've got to give a shout out to my buddy M Space for putting this together for us. This is just a quick mock-up to show you what is possible. That right there is our own custom little model of a trophy, and personally I think what we'll do is we'll scale it down a little bit and put it on a less detailed scale so it would fit into Minecraft more, you know, so it would be like this kind of scale right here, which is probably about 6 by 6 pixels. But that's the general idea, that we can make our own little unique blocks and then we can give them out to players for completing challenges or participating in competitions, and they can have these things stored in their base. Now the whole thing is possible thanks to a concept that Simply Sark shared. This next feature is fantastic for details. I'm sure you've seen people put armor stands in bases before, cover them in armor and put... I've been friends with Sark for such a long time. It goes back years on YouTube. And yeah, this is based off of a concept he showed in his video. If you'd like to see it fully explained, there'll be a link to his video in the description box down below. So what we're actually placing down is a mob spawner. It's been retextured so there's no cage. The pig and the particles also don't appear there as well. And there's like an armor stand in it, and it's holding like a block model, and yeah, you go watch Sark's video, it'll make a much more sense. But basically we can use that to, if we stand next to it, when we place it, to put a model into the world. And this will never actually spawn anything as well, which is another good thing. It's not going to start spawning pigs, it's completely inactive, it's not, you know, showing any particle effects, but we can use it to bring our own custom models into the world. To be thought about as well, like the glowing one is really overpowered because you can see that through blocks, and I think actually that's probably going in the wrong direction there. But there's loads of kind of poses and whatnot that we could put these armor stands into, and we could do a lot with them. I just think the name tag way of doing this is kind of outdated. So this is an old idea that I kind of want to revisit and put into this new world. So here we have a bit of a vague and a loose idea at the moment, but these banners that you see in front of you can't be made in survival Minecraft, but in creative Minecraft you can put extra layers on above the ones that you can do in survival. So I think you're limited to 6 in survival. You can put a couple extra on if you're in creative mode. This right here is a grumpy cat, by the way. I think it looks hilarious. We've got a pencil there if it's not clear, a bull, a reindeer, an ent, and then some sort of rainbow chain thing. I grabbed these off of planetminecraft.com, but none of them you can make in survival Minecraft. So this is something I think I'd like to do. Perhaps make them unique craftable recipes, like you put a banner with some diamonds and emeralds into a crafting table and it gives you one of these banners, or maybe find a way to just add in extra crafting on top of that. I don't know, but it's just another idea that I wanted to throw out there that I'm thinking about. Most of you watching this video would have seen this before. It's on Hermitcraft, it's on my vanilla patron server as well. Some of these mobs, well, pretty much all of them in the game, if you kill them with a looting sword, there's a chance to get a mob head like that one right there from the zombie villager. And I just wanted to say that's going to be on this server as well. I'm also going to be keeping this up to date moving into 1.13 with the new mobs, and you can already get this from xisumavoid.com. If you go on there and look for the Even More Mobs head page, you will find, you know, everything you need to install this on your own server. So this will be on the new project, and we're going to update it moving forward. There are not many servers in the world where you ask if you can kill people and they turn up. This feature isn't on Hermitcraft. It's similar to the last one I showed you, and I'm hoping we can develop it for the next one, because I've got a feeling it might be a little bit crazy with a larger player. But if someone would stand still, well, they're all kind of standing still. That is that player's player head right there. This is a very cool feature. So, oh, did it not work? No, it's in my inventory. I got Garth's head as well as Boozer's here. And let's get Spangle's heads. And yeah, this is a feature I want to put on the new server, okay? It's on this one. We should be able to move it over to the next one. If you kill another player, you'll get their head.